Hey, welcome back to the Grid Culture. Hit that like, share, subscribe. We back in the building. It's our first one of the new year, the 2022. So, man, let's get into it, man. So if y'all not familiar, man, everything's going on. Well, not everything. It's not nothing big. It was just a little altercation, but it was something that I noticed out of it that needed to be addressed, especially going off of the backlash and the response that it received in the public, especially in all those little forums and shade room forums and all of that shit. Is the altercation, the quote-unquote altercation, the verbal argument between the Fresh and Fit podcast and Asian Doll. Now, if you're not familiar with these characters, Fresh and Fit, they're pretty well known on the YouTube community and the podcasting. I don't watch them. They engage in more, dating advice, like dating coaches. I guess so. And, they got some other stuff to their podcast, some other material that they bring to the podcast. But primarily they're known for, talking about dating, having a whole bunch of ladies on the show and, all of that. Now, they've been called out because of their hypocrisy, so to sing. They talk all this, alpha male stuff and, everything like that. But, you look into their background and everything that's, on the internet. The beautiful thing about the internet is everybody can see your history or shit that you got going on. This, if you on there, if you got something posted somewhere, somebody's gonna eventually find your stuff. Especially when you got material that garners that much attention. Somebody's bound to find your stuff on there. So they've been found on sugar daddy websites and stuff like that. I think the little short, little dark one, talks all this stuff. I guess it was his girlfriend, and talk about how they have a real relationship, and she's not like all the other girls out there in Miami where they reside at. And come to find out, that's how she gets all her money. He's tricking on her, inviting her out to the yacht, paying her bills, stuff like that. And she lives that same lifestyle that all the other girls live, so not to get too deep on it. It's just, I'm just showing you how I'm familiar with these guys. I do know that a lot of they I guess they fall under the whole manosphere thing that goes on. And I don't want to sit up there and say the manosphere is just out to shit on women. I mean, because keep it real, and I say it all the time. A lot of these females do need a reality check because of how they're the fairy tale world. A lot of them deal with feelings instead of facts, but that's how they've been conditioned throughout society to respond to things like that. But at the same time, it seems like a lot of the fans of shows like this, and that's not to say that's everybody. It's not to say that they don't have good content and some game to give somebody that somebody could take away. But a lot of their fans come from basically checking females, talking crazy to them, kicking them off the show, shit like that. There's a lot of dudes that are entertained by that shit because they can't do that shit themselves. So a lot of them are there just for the fuckery. Sometimes even if it's female, maybe. Like I said, a lot of females, and some of the clips I've seen, they be completely delusional and shit like that. But sometimes, the action may not warrant the response. But, you know, who am I to tell somebody how to respond? Now, as for this chick, Asian doll, I'm familiar with her from the whole King Von situation. I guess she was messing with him or whatnot, and after he died, she was referring to herself as Queen Von. But like I said, I don't know. From what I know, reported on the internet, rumor. I guess she was, messing with the opposition. That's how a lot of the stuff started while she was with King Von, and he had an issue with NBA YoungBoy, and while they had their whole back and forth, she was doing the songs with him. And so, of course, Quando Rondo, the person, who the altercation happened that ultimately led to King Von's death, he's affiliated with YoungBoy. And then on top of that, right after he died, I guess she's moved on. She's rocking with the rapper Jack Boy out of Florida. So it's all a big mess. But this is the type of characters, the salacious, controversial type of characters that, bring the ratings and that people like to see. So, of course, it hits the news headlines. Hell, here I am talking about this shit. But it's not for the characters. I just wanted to give you a little backstory on who these people are if you don't know who they are. But so I wanted to talk about the situation itself and, the altercation and, a lot of people. I saw Joe Budden, which of course, his ass. He's always going to say the politically correct thing, jump on the female side and, stuff like that, try to jump on the Myron character, try to jump on his case for what he did. But it's not that, it's not that cut and dry. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be understood. At that point, I guess, there's a certain way that you could address people, address them in a better manner or whatnot. But, at that case, he said it had been, 5 or 6 times, they're sitting up there and talking over him while he's trying to run a show. So you hear the whole side conversations happening in the background and everything. And he keeps having to tell them. And so that's disrespectful to begin with to those ladies. So, Asian doll, she chimes in and says, basically has a problem with how he's talking with her. But even if
guys, sidebar conversations, please.
All right. What about
I've told you this is like, this is like the 5th time I've told you that, right?
Yes.
6th time.
Like, stop. For real, like, stop.
He mean as fuck.
I'll just keep it real, man.
No,
Like,
but
you
he's cool.
haven't been here, so
It's
you
just
haven't seen
cool.
it.
About none of that shit.
Yeah, it's the whole show.
Yeah, she's been doing it the whole show. I'm not mean as fuck. I just have rules. Simple.
All right, go ahead. It's podcast.
Damn.
What I look for in a man
You a
in
mean
club
ass
that's
nigga.
like approaching me.
Hold on. Excuse me?
You mean?
I'm not mean at all.
Okay, I don't care.
Have you been here the whole time?
No.
All right, then. So you don't know what was
I
happening,
don't
right?
give a fuck.
Okay, then. So how you going to come on somebody's show, not know what go down, and say, oh, you're mean?
It don't matter. I can say what I want.
Okay, well, you can get the fuck off the show, too.
I don't give a
Man,
fuck.
Get off the show,
chill,
too.
man. Chill out, bro.
Listen, don't come like
Nah,
that.
you can go.
Chill, chill. She ain't
You're
gotta
not going to
go.
come on the platform
Bro,
disrespect.
Nah, chill, bro.
Okay.
She ain't gotta go nowhere.
No, she
chill.
could go.
Chill, bro.
I don't have to.
Chill.
Come on, baby. We don't have to be this
don't
mean.
give
We
a
can
fuck.
all be.
Listen.
Come on.
Chill out, bro.
Let's calm
I'm
down.
sorry.
He's hot. I'm calm.
No, I'm
good.
very calm, but it's like, bro, you got to show a little bit of respect on the
It
platform.
It's
is
cool,
respect.
bro.
You talking about some
Chill.
other shit. I say you mean. It is what it is. What the fuck you want me to say?
That's
You
not the truth,
mean,
though.
You mad about I said mean? You grown as hell.
Well,
Yeah, well.
Okay. So earlier on the show,
Fuck.
there's a little back and forth. So he was just telling her to chill because it was like 5 times he told her to like chill.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Okay, but I said he mean. Why he want to stop the shit?
Well,
do some dramatic.
because you don't know what was going on.
we are
I don't
holding the
know.
show.
It's good, though, bro.
Why
Hey,
would
yo.
that piss you off?
Chill, bro. It's
No,
all
I'm
right.
good.
We all right. We good.
He
No,
want
I
a
mean,
moment. Get it slow.
We good. Let's keep going, bro. We all
I want to
right.
leave.
Let's keep the
No,
baby.
don't
You
leave,
got
please.
I won't.
Please.
Okay, just like from here on out, like please,
I'm on his
one
ass,
at a
he
time
tripping.
because we're gonna
Yeah,
keep it short
we'll
right now.
start
Okay?
it over. I promise
'Cause
I won't say nothing. I
This
promise.
is the 5th time. You
Okay.
said that last time.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Okay, let's start
Go
it
ahead.
over. Okay.
Part.
Daddy pop for tomorrow
That's
morning.
messed up.
I need
Thank
one. Venmo me.
No, she wasn't saying it in a mean way or anything like that, but basically saying he was mean. Now, where she got out of pocket was, and don't take it out of what do you mean out of pocket? Out of pocket as in you're on his podcast, you're on his show, you're in his area, so you got to abide with how he moves. You would want the same thing done if you were running the show. Anything that's in somebody's domain, I liken it to, even when you're somebody's house or just anything, when they're running, they got their thing going on, you got to abide by their rules or you can leave, right? But she kept, whispering, saying, you're mean and stuff like that, even as he addressed her and addressed why he was angry. And then she kept talking, doing the same thing that he had just got on the ladies about, as he was continued to try to run his show. And so he gets on her and all of that and tells, if you don't like it, you can get the hell up out of here and all of this stuff. And she's replying, well, I don't give a fuck and I can do whatever the hell I want. And see, that's the problem with a lot of motherfuckers today. You think you can just do whatever the hell you want to do. You can do whatever the fuck you can do what you want to do. Now, there's consequences to certain shit, but thinking you can do something, you can go in somebody else's space. You wouldn't want nobody to do that to you. You wouldn't want nobody doing that in your house. It's shit that we all have to learn from. I had that problem when I was younger. Dude got angry with me for something. I was, got too drunk, shit like that. I said I was saying some disrespectful shit to him. I didn't even realize I was doing it. And he told me to get out, and I kind of sobered up. I didn't remember the shit that I was saying, but I remembered that part, and I told the motherfucker, you gonna have to remove me out of your spot. Start threatening with guns, shit like that. I was a little hothead. Thought I was invincible. Didn't think I was invincible, but I wasn't giving a damn back then. So, I'm telling them, do what you got to do, but I ain't going nowhere. And this is in this man's house, dog. I was completely 100% wrong. But, I look at that, that's in hindsight. But that's something that needs to be instilled in people from a youth, man. You in somebody else's domain, whether it's their show, their house, their business, when they tell you to leave, you gotta fucking leave. That's just decency. They got all the people talking about, but what about how he talked to her and shit like that? It doesn't matter. He could have said whatever the fuck he wants to say to her. He's not holding a gun to her head and telling her she has to stay and endure that. He can run his show however the hell that he wants to run it. Now, if he has some type of contractual agreement that says specifically if he does X, Y, Z and says these words or talks to her, and even that could get muddied up. But he does that, and in the event that does happen, she's entitled to a lawsuit or some whatever that agreement would be. And just this it's an absurd scenario, but I'm saying this would be the only event that some backlash would be justified, right? Say they're at a job or something and that goes against the job's rules. Okay, then you'd be justified and you'd have some type of gripe and she needs to be, you know, she deserves this and that and all this shit, but no. She's on his show. So sitting up there and getting back, snapping back on Ruli, talking about I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I mean he probably could have he probably could have came at her a whole different way. 9 times out of 10, the conversation, if it was me and her, conversation probably wouldn't have went like that. Now, you know, she talking about I'm mean and stuff like that. I probably wouldn't have snapped back at her like that, right? Told her, I would have told her what it was. And just kind of, laughed it off. But at the same time, you still got to abide by my rules. Maybe I would have said something if she just kept talking after I just told the girls to say something. But, like I said, the old boy's strict. That's how he runs his shit. And a lot of times, you got to be like that. Some of the most successful people, they're tough to deal with. Employees talking about, oh, he's strict, but that's how they got to where they at. By going by how they move, doing what they got to do. And they not going to screw up their regiment for nothing. That's why they're where they're at, and that's why usually in a employer-employee relationship, that's where the employee is at. A lot of times. There's a lot more workers out here than there are bosses. Now, I'm not even saying with that, the Asian dog can very well have her podcast. It's not the same, when you're talking about, she's not an employee, but she's in his domain. So eventually she left, right? But she didn't immediately leave. She sat there, and what was really bad, and I think she probably, maybe she would have left in that moment, but where it got fucked up was you had the dude jumping in, and I don't know if that was somebody she knew or something like that, but it wasn't his show, and he jumps in talking about, like I said, on that simp Joe Budden type shit, talking about you ain't got to go nowhere, and telling him to chill. Nah, you ain't got to talk to her like that. Nah, you ain't got to go nowhere. Go ahead and sit back down. You chill. Chill out, bro. Chill out, bro. Now, if you sit up there listening, you know what that was. That sound like, Myron and the Fresh and Fit dudes, they ain't coming from the same place this nigga coming from. Sound like a hood nigga, right? Now, one thing you already know, if you watch Akintunde Nation, and this is not just our film, this is what a lot of motherfuckers know, but telling a nigga that they gotta leave, you better be ready for some shit. Telling a nigga, just like I proved, like my situation when I was on that nigga shit, telling them they gotta leave an establishment against their own will. Right? Because they feel like they're entitled to be in your place. You better be ready for some shit. Now you say, and as you can see from the video, it looked like Myron wasn't wanting them problems. Because when old boy was telling him, now I tell you right now, that would have caused the issue. That would have caused the whole back and forth, and wherever it would have went from there, it would have been that with me. Because what I'm not going to have is somebody else in my spot telling what somebody else can do. What somebody else is allowed to do in my fucking place. But, that opens up, some optics on Myron. You real firm with these females, but the dudes sitting up here disrespecting your spot and telling you what you going to do in your own residence, your own domain, your own podcast. And Myron didn't have much to say. He did not have much to say. But he probably knew what it was, and maybe he made a business decision right there. I'm not gonna say he's soft or anything like that, but he got an idea of where this shit can go, right? It can go left. especially dealing with niggas. I ain't talking about black folk. I'm talking about niggas. And telling them that they gotta leave somewhere. You gotta leave a stat. You gonna tell me I gotta leave? Shit, you better be ready for whatever after that happens. And anybody that don't understand that, I don't know what world you live in, right? If you want to be politically correct, call it like you see it, just like you would anything else. Just like you would anything else. You sit there and say who's bad drivers, who got road rage problems, motherfucker, white folks or some shit like that, right? You'd be happy to call out somebody else, so be able to stand on your own shit. Everybody want to get offended about shit. Maybe they won't, but it's just whatever, man. Get off topic, but they have a right to do what they want to do on their podcast, and this is something that, it's a microcosm of the issues, problems that we have as a society, man. People just thinking that they're just entitled to everything. So luckily it didn't escalate to anything else. I've seen they've had a lot of BS going in on the show. I think a girl pulled out a gun and all of that. It says something. There's too much going on, and you gotta start vetting some of the people and understanding some of the people that you have up there, because you can find yourself in you inviting them in your space, and maybe that's what they want, because they're willing to sacrifice that, sacrifice their sanity or their peace for views. I mean, it is what it is, but just hope that it doesn't go too far one of these days, turn into some bullshit. There's been multiple situations. Dude, a chick pulled out a gun, and Myron had to pull out a gun, and one of the former workers, the guys who they worked with, kicked in the door in the middle of the show. Makes for great TV, makes for entertaining TV, good headlines and shit like that, but shit goes bad, and a lot of shit, and something happens and you can't take it back. Can't rewind the clock. You left that door open for that bullshit. So, let me know what you think in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts on the whole situation. Until then, like, share, subscribe. And I'll holler at y'all later.